My tribe mates have no idea what I'm doing here on Svartalfheim. Most of the time they enter this breeding room and think, WTF, what is this mess? But this is the normal picture a breeder sees when they log in the morning after letting the babies of the previous day grow overnight. So join me as I organize my projects in the morning. I have outsourced most of the projects into here, but I also have two species that I'm actively breeding in the main base right now. Allos and Spinos. A little less chaotic, but I also have less space in here in general. The most important thing at the very beginning is that I enter all of my adult animals into ARC Smart Breeding. On our cluster we have a tool gun for that. You can see in the upper left corner that I have set it to export and rename. My ARC Smart Breeding is set up so that when I export an animal it automatically generates a name. The toolgun then opens a name field after a successful export, so I can paste the generated name from my clipboard into it. This is so handy when you want to organize your animals. Here I have the theories that I raised as unmutated max stat females. I decided to combine the best stats on all animals on this server because I don't plan to mutate excessively since it's a single server, not a cluster. I won't even get the amount of element I would need to mutate as much as I would like to after having a mutator, so therefore I use the mutation brute force method where I have animals on mating all the time and check the eggs every day or two. By the way, do you like videos like this? Feel free to subscribe and leave me a comment. I'm going to pin the best comment and try to answer to everyone. First we check the normal rexes. I have two projects active here. On the one hand, I combine stats that are still actively collecting, and on the other hand, I already started mutating. And it's always a little bit of a risk to mutate early, because you can still find stats that are better than the mutations you have. But just in case I don't find the stats, I have at least a small advantage. I need, according to ARC Smart Breeding, rexes with a level 277. It's likely that I get these animals, but in case this does not happen, I keep this Rex 271 for now, because he's relatively close and potentially allows a mating combination that has a higher probability to reach the max level. But if I find a better Rex, I'll just get rid of this one. Therefore, I usually don't scan my babies, but only when I know that I will keep them. And how should it be different? Here I find a level 277 Rex, so a Rex that has the maximum best stats from the mating, that is currently active. It's a male and I got twins, so it's not much of an advantage now, but I keep both of them, so I have a backup just in case. And because I now have the better levels, I don't need my level 271 Rexes anymore. Especially when you have so little space, you should not keep unnecessary animals that do not contribute to improve the lines. I hear again and again in my streams and also in my videos, I should not do this and I should rather unclaim the animals and let them run wild or give them away to other players. The first one is already a bad idea because it violates the server rules. Animals that are unclaimed do not magically become wild again and live a happy life in the wild. But they're just slowing the server because they are counted as tamed animals. Not only that, they are even offline protected if your server offers offline protection. So the more people who do this, the worse the server run, and the admin has to manually remove these animals. And as for giving away, I don't give away my lines to just everyone. I only trade and share with people who I know not only value the work and the time that goes into it, but that also have something that I could use myself and therefore it's a fair trade. Furthermore, the people I trade with are also not allowed to share my stats. And this may be strange for some, but for the health of a server, a cluster and a community, it's really important that the server is not flooded with free OP animals. By doing so, you're not helping anyone but your own ego. And maybe I'll make a video about this sometime. And here I got another mutation on my melee line, and this is the 4th melee mutation I've gotten, and we're so close to 50 points. So after I'm through with my Rexes and tech Rexes, here's what's left. They now have to grow before I can continue. Back in ARC Smart Breeding, I see that I had successfully combined the stats last time and I kept some eggs back to give to my tribe mates. I don't think that I'm done with it though, but I also don't need as many eggs as I have here in the hatchery, so I'll just get rid of them for now. In the past I've gone through the eggs one by one and hatched them in the hatchery. And before that I have hatched the babies and killed them one by one. And that often takes several hours with 600 plus eggs. So now I just get rid of them by dropping them as a bag and then letting them decay. I will always have enough eggs left over from breeding to make kibble. But honestly, nobody needs that much kibble. Now that I've taken care of the eggs, I should set up a new breeding group. For this I first cryo the tech Rexes of the previous mating and put together my mutated and an unmutated Rex. The hitching posts keep the animals rendered, so they also lay eggs when I'm not logged in. You probably miss the huge breeding groups now and you wonder how I mutate like this. Our breeding settings are super high because this is just a temporary server. That means with 1 or 2 females I can achieve as much as with a large breeding group. And therefore it's okay that we are currently 3 breeders in the tribe. We don't need very many animals to get our projects through. I have now also 2 Rexes left, which were basically my 0-0 group. Unfortunately, I got better stats in the meantime, so I don't need them super urgently at the moment, so I put them away for now. And then at last I put my Therizino group, which I actually want to use with several animals, in the corner of the breeding house, so that they are not in the way. And now the breeding house looks a little bit tinier if you ask me. The very last thing I'm going to do is just to look at my megatheriums. I'm still in the process of combining the stats here. And why is it taking so long? That's the curse of mammals, because you can't just accumulate a bunch of babies and look at them later. I set them to mate for now and then I jump into the main base. Here I quickly scan my 4 grown-up S-allos. Smart breeding tells me that I need the females and a level 217 allo to further combine my stats. So I cryo my males and grab the right male and put it together with the females. Because I'm oftentimes not online for a few days, I put up signs that tell me what level I'm aiming for with the mating, so it's basically ARC post-its. My last project to take care of is the Spinos. Here I'm just 1 step away from the final level, and considering that I have 1.5 hatcheries full of eggs, and each hatchery holds 600 eggs, I think I have a good chance of getting this level. And I was right, it only took 2 fresh loads of eggs in the incubator to find the right stats. First I got the males, but later I also find females. To save time, I do the same with the rest of the eggs as I did with the previous ones and drop them as a bag on the floor. No need to hatch eggs for several hours. Then I cryo my previous Spinos and pack them away. And now I'm more or less done. Nannies and feeding troughs are filled and I'll check back later today to swap out the breeding groups. And this is a kind of normal maintenance morning, how I'm currently breeding on Svartalfheim. All the animals I'm currently breeding are for boss fights. I also breed Theris because they're not only good farmers, but they're also pretty good for bosses when you fight in a group. You have seen I do not have any shadow mains here. Do you know why? I really hate taming them now. And I actually prefer to breed Rexes rather than do that to myself. But now to you, how are you organizing your breeding groups and how much work do you do? Let me know in the comments and I would be very happy to hear from you. Bye!